Okay, I'm going to walk you through making a sardine bag charm. This one is stuffed, and this one is flat with an extra piece of vinyl, so you can make it into a lip gloss holder. So what you're going to do is you're going to print the Sardine Bag Charm file. It is one page. It's on the woollypetals.com website. In the link in the description of this video, there's a link to it. And all of these are on one page. What we're going to do is, out of fabric for the lip gloss holder, you're going to use the larger size sardine, and you're going to place two fabrics right sides together, and you're going to cut those out from the larger size. It's not symmetrical. The belly dips a little bit lower, so just keep that in mind. That's why I say right sides together, so that when you sew them up, they will be the right shape on each side. You're also going to cut one of those from fusible fleece. It doesn't really matter which side you fuse it to. Just make sure the shape of it matches the shape of the sardine, and so it's in the correct orientation. So you're going to iron that to the back of one of your pieces. Lastly, we're going to use the this piece to cut a piece of vinyl. And I just have leftover scraps from different vinyl bag making, and I wanted to create something. So I expanded on my stuffed bag charm a little bit that I had planned. But you're just going to cut out a small piece of vinyl, and if it's a little bit larger, we can trim it down later. So that's for the bag charms. If you want to make a stuffed sardine, you could use the smaller of the two sardine pieces. You'll see it's basically the bag charm without the seam allowance, and it gives us a little bit skinnier sardine. You could definitely use the larger one. It will just be a little bit chubbier. So you're going to do the same thing without the fusible fleece. Cut two pieces right side together, and that's all you need for this piece. You will also need some sort of hanging tool, which this is just a key ring that I put on our ribbon loop after I sew, of which you will need some sort of ribbon or tie. You really only need like about a 2-inch long piece for these little loops that are in there. Or you could do some sort of lobster claw that you either attach to the loop with a little ring that opens and closes, or you could actually loop it in the ribbon and have it sewn in. It just is a little bit trickier as you're sewing up the sardine to have that looped in there. You're going to have to be careful with your foot. So that's the basis of what you need to create a stuffed sardine charm or a lip gloss sardine charm. We are going to go to the sewing machine next and have you sew one up. It will be different fabrics than these, but you will be able to complete this in a very quick amount of time with these instructions. I can't wait to see what you make. Feel free to sell this. Not the pattern, but the completed bag charms or lip gloss bag charms. If you do sell it online, I would just love you to cite your source of pattern. And if you share it anywhere online, feel free to tag me. I would love to see. Two pieces cut out right sides together, or if you're cutting them out separately, you can see like this, they are mirror images of each other. And the pattern does have a little eyeball that you could cut out of felt or fabric and so on. So like I cut it out this way on one, and then I just flipped it over with the pattern, like the images facing down for the other one. Or like I said, you can lay your fabric together and cut them out at the same time. And then of course the fusible fleece, just cut it out and then line it up with whichever one it matches best with, since it is not symmetrical, and iron it to the wrong side of that. Now what we're going to do before we attach these two pieces is we're going to attach our little piece of ribbon, fold it in half so we have like a little loop, and we want that loop facing inside our sardine and align it with the nose of the sardine. So there's maybe like a half an inch to 3/4 of an inches from the edge in, and then the raw edges are out here. And you could baste that down, which basting is just stitching it in place less than your normal seam allowance, and then it'll stay. If you didn't want to do that, you could just lay it there and pin it in place and then have it sewn in directly with your fabrics. You can trim that off now or later, it doesn't really matter. We're just basically going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance around this on the bottom of the sardine. And again, it is not symmetrical, so the belly does lip or dip down a little bit lower. And so just looking at your fish, finding the side that dips down a little bit lower is the belly. I believe I'll label it on the pattern. It's not labeled here, but you can see the eye is at the top, so the belly kind of comes down lower than the top. We're going to leave an opening 2 to 3 inches so that we can turn it right side out and stuff it if you're going to stuff it through. Backstitch at the beginning and end of your seam. When you get to this point, it can be a little bit tricky to go around. It's a tighter curve, so you can lift up your foot a little bit. And I do like to do a few extra back stitches over where that little ribbon is, because that will receive the most stress, having the keychain attached to it, and then also having, you know, that's where you're pulling on it and it's hanging from stuff. When you get to the point of the fin, you do need to have your needle down pivot, and again in the middle I kind of do a little pivot there, just following the direction of the pattern edge, keeping that 1/4 inch seam allowance. If you struggle with the 1/4 inch seam allowance, what you can do is lay the smaller fish on top of your bigger cutout fish and just trace around that fish, and that should give you roughly a 1/4 inch seam allowance to sew right on top of the line. I'm going to come back past the tail and make sure I have enough space to turn, but I don't want to worry about this tail being in the turn. So I'm just going to cut my little threads there. This is our sewn sardine, and we have a little space open here. What we are going to do is we want to clip off the corners at the tail, not the seam, but a little bit away from the seam. We're just cutting off that excess fabric that, once the seam allowance is turned in, would produce a lot of bulk there. I'm going to clip around these curves. This is such a small thing that clipping curves here can really make a difference. And I'm going to clip in this convex. This is the most important, this convex and this little ditch right here, because that is where we'll have the most pulling if we don't clip our seams. And again, I'm just clipping every 1/4 of an inch or so, and it doesn't go all the way down to the seam. It just goes in that little curve, enough to have that seam allowance have a little bit of give. And on this one, I do clip around the nose as well, because we want a little extra give there. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do before I turn this right sides out is I'm going to iron the seam allowance back, because that will help us in the long run. It's easier to have that seam allowance in the proper shape before you turn it. So let's go to the ironing board. Okay, so starting at the seam allowance on one side, and this is the side without the fusible fleece, I just like to iron that seam allowance back, stretching across to where the seam starts on the other side, to give us just kind of a guide of where the fabric's going to turn. And then you can turn that over and do the other side as well. I don't always do both sides, because the side with the fusible fleece can be a little bit trying, but having one side done is definitely helpful. So now we are going to turn this right sides out. So let's go back to the sewing machine. Actually, I'm going to stay here because I like to iron it flat after I get it turned right side out. A turning stick can really help with this part of the project, and usually they come in bags of stuffing, or a chopstick will work, sometimes a pencil works, but it helps you poke out gently those smaller ends and make sure the seam gets fully poked out. And that of course is of our little tab there. We're going to turn and come down to the tail, just being gentle because we don't want any of our seams to burst. But we do want to get the nice shape of that foot. So here we have our little sardine. And we have this turned under here where we ironed. I can see the crease. So we're just going to kind of line up the other side with the fabric and iron it in place. And it would be helpful to pin it if you need, but usually ironing takes care of it. Okay. We want to make that look just nice and pretty and smooth. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's go back to the sewing machine now. Okay, at this point, I would stuff your sardine if you want to do just a simple stuffed sardine. And then you're gonna ladder stitch up that opening, and I will link to my ladder stitch video. It creates a pretty much invisible stitch. It's a short little video that shows you exactly how to do that if you don't know how. You could top stitch around this after stuffing, but that might be a little bit tricky because you'll have stuffing in it. And of course, if I'm stuffing this and not making the lip gloss holder, I'm not going to use the fusible fleece like I have on this one and just shown like there. I'm going to only use the 2 layers of quilting cotton. For this, we've got to pick out some fun vinyl. So the vinyl is what is cut out of this piece here, and let's use a fun pink vinyl on top of the yellow side. So I'm just going to kind of align this with my sardine and where it fits the best. You can use the pattern to help align it. If any of your edges, because your seam allowance may not have been exact like mine wasn't, if any of your vinyl edges overlap a little bit, just trim them off. No big deal. Just be careful not to cut your sardine. And what we're going to do now is we're going to top stitch this on and finish top stitching the fish. So to do that, we do not want to top stitch across this section because that's where our lip gloss goes in. We want to start here. We're going to come around the curve, go up the side, then we're going to continue up this fish and down around, continuing back around the fin, and then we're going to end here. And we're going to start with a back stitch or a lack stitch and end with a back stitch or a lack stitch as well. If you are having trouble keeping the vinyl kind of in place, definitely use some clips. And just keeping it like top stitch position, I like to do a slightly larger stitch because it looks nice, and making sure that you're, you know, a 1/16 of an inch or so away from the edge. You shouldn't have any issues with the vinyl because it's only on one side. Sometimes with vinyl through the feed dogs without any other fabric, it can stick to the presser foot. If that happens, you can use a piece of tissue paper over this and then tear it off. You could use a walking foot, or you could get a Teflon foot. So you can see I went around the bottom part of that vinyl, and then I'm just going to come up the side here. I'm going to continue up around the fish nose. Remember, you can definitely lift and pivot if it's a tight curve to make all on its own. Coming down, now my vinyl seems to go a little bit away from the edge on this side. As long as you're catching about the same amount of vinyl on both sides, you are fine. You do want to keep in mind, this is where our opening is, and this top stitching is closing our opening as well. So just making sure you're close enough to the edge to catch those stitches. We're going to come back down to the start of our stitches, but continue around the tail of the sardine. And then I'm just going to come up to meet my stitches up here. And there we have our cute little sardine lip gloss holder. You can clip, of course, any of the little threads that inevitably happen. And then you want to put your keychain in the little tab. You could, if you're using a smaller keychain or even like a lobster claw, you would have to put the lobster claw within this loop before sewing it. But my keychains are kind of big, and keeping them in there and not catching on the presser foot is tricky, so I just thread it through after. Ooh. Fling. I just kind of open like that, and then I thread it through. And a lobster claw hook could work well, but I find that usually if you're adding this to a charm, you can thread this onto something or add it to an existing lobster claw hook. So then you can just pop your lip gloss in there. If it gets down too far, it's hard to get out. You just push from the bottom. And let's see if the gummy bear fits as well, which is more of like a tube style. So that still fits as well. And push it out. So there is your Sardine lip gloss holder. These are really fun gifts, or a fun little craft to make with some probably middle school girls in your life. Craft show. Add like a little bead charm to it. It's super fun. So again, these are the lip gloss charm holders. The skinny size will work for most chapsticks, just like this, but you will definitely need to pay attention to like your seams being small enough. Or with the skinny size, you can just stuff it and make a cute little sardine charm too. I would love to hear if you made this, and you can tag me on social media at woollypetals pretty much everywhere. You can email me a picture, message me a picture if you don't share on social media, or just let me know in the comments that you tried it out.